I'm Pat.
Hi, Pat. I'm Jeffrey.
I'm talking about rain.
Yes, we sure are. Uh, Fascinating.
Fascinating. Yeah, I know, man. It's a slow news week. There ain't shit going on.
There's tons of shit
Like
going on.
what? I was doom scrolling at
This is the
work
thing.
today.
It's like not looking doesn't mean there wasn't shit going on.
Well, no, I did look. Well, I was doom scrolling today. What? I didn't see anything that was too exciting. Okay, so maybe we're gonna finally scrape Gaza down to sidewalks. I don't know.
I guess that's the thing. What did you
Some
see
bad.
that you looked at and said, nah, 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 not a big deal?
I don't know. Let's see. What was it? Some Donald Trump was signing something today where you can't burn the American flag anymore. And I was like, that's a trap.
Yeah, that's
No,
kind of a big deal.
I don't. And I think it's he can't enforce it because there's a whole Supreme Court ruling on
That's
that.
correct.
But
Yes.
it's obviously just bait. It's journalist bait. So where he's like, yeah, go ahead, ask me about that, and we'll talk all about like hate speech. So
Yeah, that's not something anybody should even do. That's sort of
I
a
know, but
sacred thing that you don't fuck with.
I guess he doesn't. Well, there's nothing sacred that he's not willing to fuck with. So I just I didn't see that as that big of a deal. Because there's, like you said, there's no way for him to enforce it.
Well,
But he wanted to turn it into a conversation. Well, let's talk about burning the LGBTQ flag, or doing donuts on the crosswalk. Now about that. And they didn't
well,
take the bait because they sniffed it out. They were like, "Oh, wait a minute! This has a sign that says put food here."
no,
you know?
I got you. Well, I'm saying here. So there's one caveat to it that does sort of add something interesting to it is that um, it's about basically whether or not that's an act of like inciting violence.
Right, which is also rich considering that he was the guy who just got torched for the last 4 years on January 6th stuff. So
Right.
it was like, that's why I'm saying it's bait, dude. He's like, yeah, go ahead, ask me about it. Nobody did. And I think he looked a little disappointed by it. So, yeah, and I mean, it's an executive order, it's non enforceable at all. Um, so as soon as I saw that, I was like, what are you up to, man? I don't underestimate the dude anymore. So, you know,
Nope, not even a little bit.
no.
As a matter of fact, I would say that the biggest proof of that I've come across recently actually has to do with the uh, Russia-Ukraine negotiations. Um,
Where's that going?
don't know.
Yeah, nobody knows. So, we're like last week, everybody was gyrating around that. And like some of the smarter guys out there are like, just watch, man. Putin's gonna fly back to Russia, and then he's gonna like find one little thing and say, oh well, yeah, I said, you know, we think about it. So, but only on Tuesdays. So, you know,
They can promise you anything.
hey,
I
right.
promise to try.
I promise to give it a good
Promise to try.
college
Yeah,
shot. Yeah,
yeah.
I know. And then all the Europeans came out and did nothing, of course. And then they all went back. And now it's like, oh well, yeah, but you can't have any like security guarantees, which they're not going to give anyway. I mean, people say, oh, he's going to get an Article 5. Fucking, we wouldn't honor Article 5 now. I almost fucking guarantee it, dude. So if Russia rolled on Finland tomorrow, we'd be like, good luck.
On
I don't,
Finland?
yeah. They wouldn't do that because they'd lose, but whatever.
I
Um,
say, I mean, this is sort of like your flag hypothetical. I mean, it's like if they did it, I think we would intervene, but they wouldn't do it.
well, first of all, I don't think they would do it. I don't think we would actually intervene now. I really don't, especially with Donald Trump and he'd be like, whoa, 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 everybody chill out. We're gonna have a meeting next week. Yeah, then we'll talk about Article 5.
I
But
mean,
it's not automatic. It doesn't automatically trigger because the war technically still has to be. It has to be ratified by the Senate. You know, and that was one thing that I thought about, and I was like, well, fuck. All right, so we've had this argument for years now that okay, so I mean, ever since World War II, we've never declared war on a country. True. Okay, but every conflict that we've been in has been authorized by Congress. So you have the Gulf of Tonkin resolution. You have the fucking what was the big one after 9/11? What's that motherfucker called? Um,
After 9/11?
AUMF, the authorization for the use of military force after
Oh,
9/11.
right,
So yeah, and all those, and even the Gulf War in 1990.
right.
Okay, that one it was based upon a UN decree that Iraq needs to be removed, and so they took that to the Senate, and the Senate was like, "Yeah, you're right, off you go." But they didn't declare official war, so they said, "No, we're going to uphold the UN resolution." And so if Russia, it's okay, so fine, fuck Finland. Say they roll into Latvia next week. Okay, I'm sorry, Latvia.
Right, right.
Which they won't do, but they might. Whatever. I don't know. I don't think we would actually. I mean, all of Europe would instantaneously scream and expect us to fucking, load up the 101st Airborne and fucking, C-130s the next day
Well,
and paradrop on Moscow, and we wouldn't do it.
well, let me. All right. So let me flip this around for a second. All right. So if there were troops in Latvia,
Mhm.
um, the question I would have here is, would Europeans act immediately?
Europeans probably would.
That's my question: is would they actually act or wait on us to decide whether to do
I,
what they
I
do?
think in the past they would have waited on us, but now I think after the last couple of years, now they don't have an army. That's the problem, with the exception of the Poles, which have a really good army now.
I think that's okay in their situation. I think that's actually um,
They live in a neighborhood with a bad track record.
that's pretty much it, man. I mean, that's the thing is
There's
you
that
gotta.
guy. You know?
There's that guy.
There's that guy.
Well,
He's always looking at you from behind his windows, man.
well, it's not just that guy. It's also it's not just that guy. It's just that like the neighbors keep changing, but the neighbors are always bad.
Well, yeah.
Like
I mean, it
like
hasn't
these
changed in like
guys.
80 years, but
Well,
yeah.
that's the thing is like it was these guys for a while, and they were a
Yeah,
problem,
they were definitely
right?
a problem.
Before then, it was these guys that invaded them before, and that was a problem.
Yeah, but those two guys have always been problems. Now,
Yeah,
one of them just
understood.
died.
Right.
So,
Understood. Ergo, that's why even if the like those two houses they're next to are fucking haunted. Like if people like move in and out, they're
yeah.
still fucking haunted. So
It's like the
that's why.
Amityville house, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, yeah, is that the one on TV? Yep.
That's why you got to do what you do. That's why they should have an army.
Well, and they do. I mean, they're going to get nukes. I mean, especially after this. I mean, like,
So be it.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, nobody's going to be able to stop them. But I mean, and that's why, like, if there is a ceasefire, which I doubt, I really doubt there's going to be a ceasefire anytime soon. I hope I'm wrong about that, but I just don't see it. I don't see the off ramp for anybody as long as that dude's on the highway. Because he has no reason to stop fighting, none, other than you're killing people. Obviously, he doesn't give a shit about that. So
Well, okay, so that's yes and no. There's sort of all right. The way they broke it down, and what I was looking at in the past weeks, a couple of things I was looking at here was basically the economic problems that are happening right now in Russia as a result of this.
they're
And,
terrible.
well, they are terrible. And in terms of who basically is funding things, who it is that's paying for things, it's bad and it's running out. And it's having the problem is it is having an extremely detrimental effect on the Russian people,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Those that have not been, sent out to the firing squads to get chewed up are also people that the people that are alive aren't doing too well either because of the prices and a whole bunch of the other things that are going on. So if the question is why wouldn't or basically like why wouldn't he stop and just saying he has no reason not to? Well, he does have a reason to, and he has a reason not to. There's sort of the problem here is that you and I have gone over this for years. Is we're applying a certain logic to this that doesn't apply to that.
No, no, it
right?
doesn't. Yeah, no.
Because yeah, if you looked at this economically, you're like, "Oh, you would have stopped this on week
Like
two,
fucking 2 years ago. Yeah.
right? Right. And the same thing goes to be like, all right, if you're potentially looking at the long term harm, if you're looking at what it's doing to the male population, all this other stuff, yeah, this is all stuff
Cooked.
that would have made you say like, we got to stop
It's
this.
cooked. I mean, if you
Yeah.
like carry it down, like I mean, Russia's not going to have any grandchildren. It's like two
That's totally
years.
fine.
Yeah.
Basically,
So
like, yeah,
it's going to go back to wildland. I don't know, man. I just don't. I don't think he's going to do it. I don't. I mean, he's like, there's this mentality that, you know, I don't know. It starts about France. It gets worse the further east you go. About like pride and you can't be the weak guy, blah blah blah,
yeah,
all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And he's going to fall into that because I mean now, okay, so he's paved 30 kilometers of fucking Ukrainian gains over the last 4 years with a million dead bodies.
Right.
All right, and he's just say, oh, okay, we're good, we're going to stop now. I don't think he can do that. I don't think in his mind he can do that without getting that, and then that's the thing. Like last week during the so-called, well, I hate that, during the ostensible.
I think that's fair.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
so-called is a very like communist way to put things.
Yeah, the shoe fits.
I guess it fits, yeah. It's just I like mine with a little bit more laces. So, but
Fair enough.
it's kind of the flip-flop there, but whatever. Um, where he's like, no, well, we'll talk about territorial concessions. The Ukrainians aren't going to give it to them. So they don't need us. We don't give them shit for money anymore.
Who, Ukrainians?
Yeah, we don't. So
Yeah, but we could.
we could, but we're not gonna. Donald Trump's not going to do that either. So
Well, it's not necessarily true. I mean, so the question here is again with the agreements in terms of basically drilling out their land for its precious stuff.
but that's all in the Russian part. That's the part that Russia controls. That doesn't work.
Well, we can figure that out.
Right, yeah, exactly.
This is
You can have a little corridor that goes to those
I
mines.
mean,
Yeah.
it's sort of like squatters' rights. So if you put American bodies on that area, and they're saying, "Well, that doesn't belong to you," it's like, "Well, then you're going to have to take it from us, and if you take it from us,
No, we're not going to
we're
do
going
that.
to call our dad."
We're not going to do that because we don't give a fuck about the minerals. So we've got tons of them here. Um,
Yeah,
but
we'd rather not mind them here.
I get that, but hey, man, I mean, all right. So push comes to shove. If, we're on what iPhone iteration 19. So and we ain't got that special rock we need. We'll find it.
Or you know what? We'll make it out of something else.
Probably, yeah. So
This is the thing: is a lot of
yeah,
times innovation comes when you run out of that thing.
or it becomes like
Expensive
really
or
stupid
rare.
expensive, and
Yes.
I've already seen that about cobalt. So
Yes.
yeah, where they're like, nah, actually, we can. There's better shit that we can use than this. It's like, huh?
It's just cheaper.
And
Yeah, I know.
yeah, it's
I
just
know.
cheaper.
I
I
know.
get it, man.
But not forever.
No, but not forever. And then, quite honestly, I mean, there's so many of them out there anymore. How much of that stuff can you reclaim from landfills? A lot now.
This is true.
How many, like an old Tesla battery? How many new cell phones does it make? Probably a shitload.
It's a great question.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know. I
it's
don't
a
know.
great
I'm not a
question.
chemist or a materials engineer, but so we'll see, man. I'm not very optimistic right about it right now. There was a little bit of movement in it last week, and then it just seemed to have died on the vine. And JD Vance was talking about it yesterday. I was like, well, wait a minute, you're telling us stuff that's really easy to figure out without news. That means there's no news.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is I take the lack of news as actually a good sign.
It might be. You might be right. So I hope you are. I don't know. I mean, I've been watching the thing since it started. I was tailgating it hard for a couple of years there, and I remember seeing all the things about Russian economies within 3 days of collapsing. Oh my God, potatoes are like 300% what they were 2 weeks ago. Yada yada yada. And then it's like, okay, that was a year and a half ago. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So it's bad. I get it. But then you go around and you actually like poke around on Telegram a little bit, or if you one thing that the Russians actually do is they do public polling, and it's actually pretty accurate, surprisingly, and they like the guy. So the Russians actually like Putin, and it's like, uh, but your grocery stores suck. you know,
Yeah, but they
so,
don't blame him for that.
I know they don't blame him; they blame us for that. And that's like, well, that's wrong. Okay, but I mean, like you're the second largest agricultural nation in the world. You've got a third
I
of the
know.
people. So,
Look, here's all right. This is the thing: is this is Russia? Okay,
right.
this is the story of basically like poor ownership, right? That's.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is the thing: is it's like I swear to God, it's like these guys bought one of those, and I think they're all gone now. I think they're all gone. But there used to be, like in Brooklyn, there used to be like a few plots where they weren't like busted down into the parcels that they are now. There used to be a few pretty decent sized lots with big houses on them.
Yeah.
Not huge houses, but
Yeah. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
sized houses. And like people would grow like tomato plants and stuff there,
Right.
right? Like it would look like what you have out here in the middle out there,
Right. Right. Right.
right? Now, as time has gone by and developers have come and then they give them a number in 1989 and they're like, this is a good number, and you say like, yeah, I'm just going to keep living here, right? I say, all right, all
All
right.
right. All
I'm
right.
just gonna. It's like, hey, I'm a bank manager. I'm gonna live out
I'm
here
gonna live
for a
out
little bit
here.
longer. So they come to you back in 1999, and they add another zero to it, and they say like, you know what? Um, I got control of that branch. It's cool. I'm all right. But in 2009, right, they come back with one more zero,
Right.
and they say, are you sure we can't get you to move to Florida?
And he's like, yeah, Florida sounds nice. Yeah, I'm tired of the winters.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they buy that huge ass like that Brooklyn place that has been from their standpoint like economically a waste.
Yeah. And then
It's
they
like,
put five like 10-foot white brownstones on it.
yes, they're
Yeah.
like,
So,
fuck you and your tomato plants
right.
that came from the home country,
Yeah. Right.
and this one's been transplanted from like 5 yards. Okay, that's cute. Watch us make some money out of this. And now you're in Russia. Russia is like, it's that land. It is not being put to good use, right?
No,
And as to why, I don't
I
know.
don't know,
Again,
dude.
we're applying. You're talking about people who are next to the Chinese, the king of ripoffs. So, in terms of just like looking like over the horizon and saying like, man, how does Americans like get so much shit out of the ground? Have you ever thought to ask them or just like spy on them for a little bit and then just like do it ourselves? Eh,
I
eh.
don't know. I don't get it, man. I don't understand. Um, so yeah, that's why I'm a little pessimistic.
I
But
mean, this is the thing:
there's some element to this that just escapes my like comprehension.
look, dude. What gets me is why you would just in terms of like you mentioned, right? Just very fertile lands in a lot of those places, right?
Yeah.
Um, if your neighbors are the Chinese and you know that they have food shortages, I have no idea where you're like, well, we have this. We're going to
Yeah.
mass produce this and we're going to rape you.
So my understanding is that it's just too far. It's bigger than you think it is. And then all the parts in Russia, if you get on just Google Earth and look at it, all the places where they grow all the shit is by Ukraine. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then like Putin's always had this thing about like not becoming beholden to the Chinese. And so he's careful not to make them like a primary customer of anything. So because it's that whole idea, if your loan's big enough, you own the bank, kind of thing. Yeah. So
Yeah, some real nice fucking like solid 1950s thinking right there. But yeah,
totally is.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it totally is, man. So I have no fucking clue. The guy's getting what close? He's got to be close to mid 70s now,
Yeah, but
which is like 106 for the average Russian.
it is. But if you compare it to the health, like the actual like BMI of the average American politician, he's doing great.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
Well, our guy's doing okay too. So somehow.
Noir?
Like he's been weatherproof. It's sci-fi Diet Coke.
because he doesn't rest.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't do that either.
That's the thing is he's got the like Montgomery Burns I have every disease thing going on here,
Oh, okay.
right?
They
Like
cancel each other out.
exactly. If he rests, he'll die.
He'll die. He's like a shark. He can't stop swimming.
Exactly. Yeah. Like say for example, like if Donald Trump, for example, like he'd taken his billions years ago, and said, you know what? I've had my name on a whole bunch of stuff,
Mhm.
right? I have a place in the American lexicon, right? Um, Now, granted, it's not. Yes, they're gonna find like a fucking in the dirt. They're gonna find my head statue, right? Okay,
Right. Yeah.
that's gonna happen, right? But if he took his billions and his family legacy and said, like, you know what, I'm just gonna retire. Okay, I'm just gonna retire. If he retired 10 years ago, he'd have slumped over with an orange in his mouth, chasing his grandson around.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. His dad lived to be pretty old.
That's
So
his
I
dad.
looked at
His
that a
dad.
little while ago.
I guarantee you, his dad didn't eat them fucking cheeseburgers for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day.
Probably not. So they were probably made with better stuff back then anyway.
Well,
This
I
is
mean,
quite a bit less preservative powder, yeah.
you're not you're not wrong, but we have way more lead in the balls too. I mean, there's sort of a
There is okay, so that is something interesting that I did see the other day. It was like these comparison of actors from today and their ages versus those back in like the 1950s or the 60s. And I remember looking at a couple of them and like Carol O'Connor, when he started playing
oh, Archie
Archie
Bunker.
Bunker, was like 39. Just a fuck. It was ridiculous, dude. I was like, what the fuck? So, it was something like that at some crazy young age. And that was actually what he looked like. So, in the
Like
same,
his hair had gone completely white at that
exactly,
point.
yeah. And
Yeah,
when, well, it
yeah.
was he's like salt and pepper, but I mean, his face looks like a fucking, catcher's mitt, by that point in time. And then they showed all these other ones. And
Brian
like
Dennehy, for
Brian
example.
Dennehy, yeah. So, but then there were a couple others that were, like especially the ladies. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, you hit like
Completely unfair to them.
55, you were looking like you were 80,
You just, yeah.
Yeah.
You look like you're 80. You just like if you heard one of them coughing, you're just kind of like,
Oh,
oh, I
oh.
guess we got to go shop for your cough
Right.
relief.
Exactly. Let's go pick out a plot, you know. So
No, no, you're not fucking kidding. Like where 45 was just this sort of
you're
like,
doomed. Doomed.
well, you just looked like an old ass man.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the crazy thing is like there are some people like Lance Hendrickson looked like he was fucking 60
Yeah.
when he was
And
33.
he still looks the same today.
Correct. He has
So,
less hair.
yeah.
He is. I think he's actually skinnier, which is seemingly impossible. But he looks like the same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, the perfect example. Another perfect example is Patrick Stewart. Now
Oh,
he's in his
yeah.
80s. Now he looks like
He looks old.
he's crooked over.
Yeah.
But there's this period
Yeah.
from
30 years.
35 to like 60 where he looks like the
He
same
looks the
person.
same guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No. No, that did not work back then. So there's that to be said about that too.
See how fucking muscular The Rock was at like 50?
Yeah. But I mean,
And like Hugh Jackman and those dudes that like all those dudes are post
I
40.
think The Rock takes supplements.
I think all of those guys did.
Yeah,
So
okay,
I
all
think
right.
they've all been very open about that.
That's The Rock. I thought The Rock always denied
The Rock lies. The Rock lies about a lot of things. I mean, that's he does
that.
that.
I don't know that much about him.
No, he lies about a lot of things, but that's not like I remember he got in trouble with like that Oprah thing with Hawaii when they had the Maui fires and all this shit. He got caught lying about Joe, but and steroids famously. That's the thing is there's a look. You're either this is the thing like when you see those kangaroos that look like they can lift 3 plates and they have these little
That's
arms.
The Rock. Yeah, they get the little,
They got those little T-Rex
T-Rex
arms.
arms.
And that's the weird thing is that is a genetic abnormality, right? Because they don't work out like fucking crazy. That's just like they're their hormones
Yeah, yeah,
are
yeah.
going like crazy, right? And there are human beings that have that.
Yeah.
But if you've seen The Rock in his NFL days, in his early wrestling days, he looked like a big guy, but he also looked like I don't want to say chubby because that's all sorts of wrong. He just looked like basically
He looked human.
yes, he looked
Yeah.
like a 1960s bodybuilder versus a
Oh,
2025
dude, there's something that
bodybuilder.
like after like anything pre Schwarzenegger and bodybuilding is kind of weird.
It's weird.
Yeah, because you go back and you look and you're like your heroes are guys like
Sean Connery, for example.
well, yeah, but the other guy, well, yeah, he I mean he was downright tubby. That's
I
not,
mean, he was like a
but
famous Charles Atlas and guys like this. Yeah.
well, I was thinking more like Charlton Heston and stuff like that.
Oh,
And
okay,
who
yeah,
plays
yeah.
Spartacus? Kirk Douglas. So those
Mhm.
guys. That was supposed to be like your premier male physique. And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, I mean,
I mean, so I'll say this. I do respect that. Okay, so like if you look at like how Russell Crowe looked in Gladiator,
okay.
that would have been like again, that's like athletic, but still not huge.
Yeah,
Not
no, he wasn't huge.
versus The Rock in 2022, 2024,
Yeah.
right? Especially when you're 50. That's sort of the things that they point to. It's like, no, no, no. See, testosterone drops off at these ages.
It starts dropping off as soon as you start turning what, 25 or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah,
Now it's at different levels for different people,
sure.
and I understand that. But yeah, if you have that genetic condition, you still have that at 50, but you also had that at 10
Right, yeah. You were that kid.
because you've seen it. There are like you see 10-year-old kids where you're like, that kid is fucking jacked, and that's because they
Yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
that premature development. And you know what? That's the thing is, a lot of times those guys they have heart problems because of that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think in back in like high school, did I know a guy like that?
We didn't. We didn't know anybody that was like that jacked up.
No, I can't remember.
We knew some big guys.
I knew a couple big guys, and I mean, I knew guys who were just like naturally well built.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever known someone who just like was naturally cut without having to lift a single plate, kind of thing.
Okay, so I knew dudes back then who had unassisted six packs,
Okay.
right? And that was just because really skinny ass kids were not all that uncommon back in the day.
No, they're not that uncommon today either. So, dude, I'm telling you, man, I've been picking my daughter up at high school. It is like almost exactly what it used to be, except, huh?
We live in Colorado.
No, I know that, but like the exception is that there are a few people that are definitely pushing three bills, and there are more of those than there used to be. There's not a lot of people in the middle who are just a little tubby, you know?
Oh, it's just the tale of the two extremes.
Well, it's normal, and then the tail. So, yeah, it's just different.
It's different, but I mean that's the thing is taken into consideration we do live in the healthiest state in the union. Um and yeah, and on top of that, I think a lot of parents actually do watch what their kids eat here.
Oh, maybe. I don't.
Well, I mean, some kids are like that. Some kids are basically, they're goats, right? It's kind of like, so what'd you do for dinner? It's like, I knocked over the neighbor's trash can
All
and
right, yeah, I found some pizza.
I got full.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing is they can still get big and strong eating basically like trash.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing is when you get down to other places where, especially within certain communities where the food is awful, and it's basically just those fucking like those crustables, those like little peanut butter and jelly pockets and the crap like that, where it's like, how many of these did you eat today?
Yeah.
Right? And you get into some of those communities, like, yeah, it's a problem.
I don't
It's
know.
a big problem, man.
I'm not familiar with any of those, so I don't live there.
No, no, I understand, but that does, I mean, it is a concern, yes.
Solving it one Ozempic shot at a time.
Well, I don't know.
I did see that they cut their prices in half again.
Did they?
They did.
Oh,
So I guess that was on the news. Maybe that was Friday. Come to think of it.
was it? Oh, okay. That's a great thing.
One of those companies is actually really hurting because they thought they could, just hang on to the top end of the market for a while. And apparently, like, getting thin actually does have kind of a sweet spot price point.
Oh, yeah, and that's, I mean, you can make that argument. You can say that this is again, um, it's another like poor tax, that kind of thing, and that's fair enough. But just to give you perspective, this is where it doesn't seem like crazy, right? So for where we were, like when we were growing up,
uh,
childhood obesity was at around like 5 to 6%, right?
yeah,
And now it looks like it's around like 20%. So it like in that
yeah.
case, it wouldn't look like a huge jump because you're not like it's every other
No,
one of you,
no, and
right?
you're probably right. That's a little bit lower here than it is elsewhere, but I don't know, man. I mean, still, when they talk of childhood obesity, something like that, that's not a hard count. That's also an average still.
Oh, of
So,
course. Uh, Look, I'm going to put it to you this way: the South raises the entire,
yeah, I'm
you know,
aware.
you
Yeah,
know,
Texas alone probably raises
yeah,
it.
this whole little. You see what I'm drawing here with my
It's
hand?
America's
It's
frown.
yeah, right over there. Yeah, because you want to flip around and say like, oh, okay, well, so you got this going against you, and this, and this, and this, and you're like, oh, but your IQ is like 10 points higher. No, that's not true either.
No. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, what? I don't care.
That's
I don't live there.
I'm apologizing to humanity.
Well, fucking get your shots. Come on.
Listen, man, I get it, and it's something that yes, they heard my call. It's like this is something that we're naturally built this way, so technology is going to have to take care of it. And um, I do not think that this will be without its difficulties. I think that we've seen some complications already. I think we're about 5 years out from seeing a couple of things that probably not in huge numbers, but things that'll make you say like, "Oh shit, this was a problem."
Yeah, but
Um,
everything's got something like that.
but
You
yeah,
know,
that's the thing is, I think it will lead the way to things that are
considering heart disease is
considerate
the
changes.
number one killer
Yes,
of all Americans, I think that okay, if a few people actually get some kind of genetic deformality because of this,
right.
well, oh, that sucks for you, man. Bad luck, but it's gonna save like so many people
That's correct.
down the road.
Yep.
You know, and especially the way that it works is an appetite suppressant. That's exactly what you need to do. So it's kind of like, hey, boy, bring me the screwdriver. Which one? The one that fits this screw. You Perfectly.
What are you stupid?
Stupid. It's the plus or the minus. The plus, dumbass.
I agree. No, that's the trick because the what I can say is that the attempts that people have made to basically commandeer this by saying like, hey, this was a dietary thing. So if you look at the 1950s and you
Yeah.
break down and say this is what they were eating, okay, gotcha. That's cute and all, but attempts to replicate that have not solved the problem. Same thing goes with, did everything go wrong with the food pyramid? I don't think so. I don't think the shape of this was the problem. I don't think that the I don't think that was for the best, but I can also point and say, like, yes, this is when people were eating more, and it also means they were more sedentary. And what I can also say is that compared to this is, I can throw it out here on this, okay? I will just give it to this answer. I don't care where you get them from. If you're going to talk about averages, okay, if you're talking about 1960, the average American consumes 1,000 extra calories per day than the average person in 1960.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
So I don't really care if that comes from burgers or if that comes from ketchup, if that comes from syrup or whatever. That sheer number is going to be what essentially is going to add up on you every single day, right?
Yep.
Whether or not the shape of the food pyramid is, that's the thing.
I mean, you kind of intuitively know, that it's like, yeah, I shouldn't eat too many more of these, kind of thing. Everybody's got that. Everybody's got that.
Well, that's Patrick. That's one of the reasons why the whole argument of, well, these communities don't know what's unhealthy.
That's
like,
bullshit.
Yes, they do.
Of course they do. Everybody knows.
It's like, come on, man. Are you giving them no credit to say, like,
well, and that's kind of what
good.
it is. Yeah.
I mean, it's so embarrassing.
For you than apples. It's like nobody thinks that. Come on, man. Yeah, and the same thing about food deserts, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, well, I'm sorry, man. I'm not going to run a fucking grocery store at a loss in your neighborhood.
No.
You
know who's responsible for that?
The neighborhood. Yeah.
Well, your congressman. I mean, that's the thing.
I don't care about the Congress.
Well, no. If your shit is so fucked up that you can't get businesses in there, right?
Right.
You're supposed to go to your representation and say, like, guys,
what are they supposed to fucking do about it?
Well,
go open some government grocery stores? No.
Well, no. Like, say, for example, if you say, why is it a loss? Is it because of shrinkage? Is it because of crime? Is it because of whatever it may be? Okay, then that's what it's their job to address it. It's their job to do the research and find out why. And whatever the reason is, that's what they're there to fix. And if they're not fixing it, you get them the fuck out.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I mean,
you have people that are supposed to help you with this.
Yeah, but sometimes the fucking shit just goes south, man. And I mean, sometimes it just means there's just not enough people around here to actually support a store like that.
Well,
okay,
I think we're picturing two very different things, but yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
I got you.
So, or like you open a bodega. I mean, that's what bodegas always did, was they filled that niche. So you have a neighborhood basically market that sells all kinds of shit. Okay, but in much smaller quantities. There you go. It's just it's one of those things where I think all those arguments are a little condescending. And it's like, come on, man. I mean,
I know.
We didn't just figure out fucking food yesterday. So,
no,
it's like everybody in 1860 managed to get a square meal. Otherwise, there wouldn't be an 1870. So come on, man. We've done to figure this out.
And there's just no version of this where we're kind of like, I thought Crunch Bars were as good as, like, lettuce. It's like, no, you don't.
Nobody thinks that.
You're a liar.
No, you just like Crunch Bars.
That's correct.
Just say that. That's fine.
And that's fine. Look, it's a hard thing for people to fight against here, too, because, I mean, if you break it down to, if you just break it down to doing what the brain wants, right?
Yeah.
If your brain goes in there and says, like, well, all right, I'm at the store, I'm buying things. What am I going to buy?
Yeah.
Right? Yummy food tastes yummy. You buy that shit.
Yeah,
I got it.
But you don't let your brain push you around.
Well, that's sort of the eternal struggle, man. That is the when people ask about, like, what it means to be a human, right? Is you've reached that next level to be able to do a lot of things.
Right.
But there's a lot of them that you shouldn't be doing. Self-restraint is the hallmark of the human experience. Right?
It's definitely one of them. I think that in some respects, it's delaying consequences in some.
That's part of it.
But eventually you learn that.
Yeah.
Eventually you learn that.
There is a reason why eventually, like, you forgive children for this. You forgive dogs for this.
Right.
But you do not forgive adults for this.
No.
Yeah. And yeah, that's that same kind of thing of like, well, I didn't know. It's like, yes, you did.
Yeah, of course you did.
The same thing, there's no version of this where you can look at this and say, like, you didn't know that breaking the law was not wrong. That's a lie.
That's a lie. That bike didn't belong to you.
That's correct. Now, your standards may have changed because the people that you surround yourselves with may have very different moral grounds and they
Right.
can lie to you and this kind of thing. But ultimately, it's on the individual to say, you know, my sister does steal bikes and she's a fuck up. That
Hmm.
doesn't make stealing bikes
This is bad.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
This, this, I can't remember who was it. This was famous maybe 7 years ago, maybe a little bit before. There was somebody who wrote a pretty, it was a pretty compelling book about basically like, if I know your background and I know your social situations, I know your parents, that kind of stuff. If I know enough details about your origins, I can predict your future with remarkable percentage of
I've
likelihood
seen
of
people
success.
do that, but
And I think that's hokum.
it's total hokum. Yeah. I mean, well, so what you're doing when you're doing that is you're just playing the law of
Well, you're
averages.
just zooming out far enough to be able to.
Sure.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just playing the law of averages.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, if you get, I mean, some of that there's a little bit of truth at that, just because of the amount of like sheer luck or audacity it takes to actually radically change your circumstances from time to time. And so, just the fact that most people aren't willing to do those things means that yeah, sometimes people do get locked in, and just because you called that one doesn't mean that you're good at that.
That's a pretty good way to say that. Yeah, I think that's a great approach. I think that's a good way to say that. What do you? All right. So I did I talk to you about this before about Gabe Newell? Um,
I think so.
yeah, where
His
he
name sounds familiar.
well, he's the guy that made Steam.
Oh yeah, he's that fat guy.
Yeah, he's the guy at
Yeah,
Valve.
he's
Yeah,
that
the
big
fat
fat
guy
guy.
has got the beard now.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
he lives on a boat with a whole bunch of Thai women or something.
I don't know if that's him, but I could believe it. Um, but yeah, he's got that big beard, and he was on TV the other day, a couple of weeks ago, saying that he essentially attributed everything that he had to luck. Now, I would ask you this: how much of that do you believe? How much of luck do you think is actually? Because my whole argument on that is like, well, if I was in that boardroom, I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
have
would have
made it
done it too.
happen.
Yeah, well, maybe
It's
I
like,
don't know.
well, because I don't know shit about computers. I don't know, like,
I've got a very different view on luck than most people. I think that luck is a constant; it's not a variable, and so you're not going to find someone who's lucky and someone who's unlucky. Okay, it's just it's this thing that we ascribe to just circumstance. And the thing about like circumstance is that circumstances happen to everybody,
right.
and then like I tell the students this all the time. It's like, look, you're going to get a lot of opportunities, okay, and some are going to be absolutely phenomenal. But the problem is sometimes you're not going to recognize it. That's the problem. And so I think luck is like one of the, okay, so yeah, he started Steam after Half Life, whatever.
Yeah,
Okay, and made a fucking mint. And so yeah, he kind of hit the market at the right spot. But he was smart enough to actually look at that and say, "Oh fuck, we can do this."
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 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 and that's all that
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
That's all that is. I mean,
And to attribute that all to luck is something that I find offensive.
I don't find it offensive. I just don't think it's accurate. That's all. So I mean, everybody worships their own god, so to speak, and so if his is the luck god, whatever. you know?
Yeah, okay, so that's a good point. So I guess so. If I'd flipped it around, and if he'd been basically if he treated it like it was like the fucking game winning pass of the Super Bowl, and basically it's like I attribute everything to my Lord Jesus Christ. I don't.
That's fine.
I mean, that's the thing. I don't
That's
know if I'd
fine.
have the same reaction.
Yeah.
I might. I mean, there's the part where I'm like,
Or you could just Steve Jobs it and say, "Look what I did, fuckers."
well,
None of you guys would have done that.
that's. I mean, that's part of it. There's a thing where God, this was sort of this was the Rorschach thing for Watchmen is basically like when it came down to you're looking at these pivotal things, these big things, you catch the game winning touchdown, right? But when you're looking at someone who's committed atrocities, right, and they're basically like burning and you've torched this person, that's the moment where it's like, I looked up into the sky and I didn't see God. It was like it was us. It was We can't put this on someone else. We did this.
People are always the problem.
Well,
Not the zombies, the people.
well, okay. But I mean, this is like this. Granted, look, man. I mean, there's a philosophical piece to this here. It's like, okay, so, all right, I can look into certain things. I could say, all right, I can go into the Old Testament. I can go into um, I can look at basically the additional Jewish texts here, and I can find things that basically support like the Holocaust came from God,
Yeah, you
right?
can find that.
I don't want to because I don't ever want to take that away from people.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean?
yeah, but like I said, yeah, I mean, you're looking for a seminal cause to it, and there isn't one, you know.
Well, it's us.
Okay, so
I
we're
mean, not you
responsible.
and me.
Yeah, I know, but in that same light, all right, if we're responsible for the worst things in the world, we're responsible for the best,
Best things,
which
yes.
doesn't fucking matter. Which means we might as well be responsible for everything or nothing, you know. So,
Yes, yes.
yeah, I
Did
don't.
you see my point?
I see your point, but I mean, like explanatory power just isn't there. So what? All right, so it's all us. Got it. Now what? Okay. You know,
Well, don't.
or it's all God. Okay, great. So it's God. Got it. All right. Now
Well,
what?
I mean, that's the thing. Is again to go on the side, we do not believe in predestination in this house. I mean, that's where it's
There's
like
no,
I
no,
made
no
that
Calvinism allowed here.
right. I got his face with a fucking Ghostbuster no symbol
But I mean,
on the
and so
lawn.
that,
Yeah,
but that's not just a philosophical thing that's been new. I mean, you know,
I
the
wouldn't say it
idea
was
of
new.
agency and what is it, self-determinate, not self-determination, but what is it, consciousness, autonomy. That's not what I'm.
Well, self determination is definitely a part of it
Yeah,
too.
I know, but there's another word that they use for that. Freedom of will. What is it? So,
Oh,
something like that.
oh, you're talking about the you're going back to Genesis, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, it's not
yeah.
original sin. It's I mean, it comes from that, but it's
There's a term for it. It's just like right around the
this
corner
is
there, man.
embarrassing. Like this is like the fundamental of free will.
Free will.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Jesus, close. I was trying to
Man,
put too many words on it.
this is painful.
Such this fucking thing off. Yeah.
A lot of years of school and education to forget like the most basic concept, man.
Yeah, I don't know, man. As I get older, I have less use for philosophy than I used to. I really do. You know. Um, I mean, I'm a dyed-in-the-wool pragmatist at heart, and so like a lot of it's like, yeah, that's cool, but doesn't matter. It is what is. You
Well,
know? So
so okay, so it's I guess the take on this here is as philosophies go, and you tell me if this has sort of been your experience with this too. Here is, um, I think there's a lot of people that um, would love to find an ism that always works, right?
yeah,
And I mean, to me, it seems like everything that I look at, you go in there, it's like, all right, well, let me walk down the avenue of stoicism. You know, look at this kind of stuff and say,
oh,
like,
that was big a couple of years ago.
yeah, I mean, therein lies the raw dogging. Okay,
Yeah,
but this
go
is,
read your Marcus Aurelius.
you see my point.
Yeah.
This is the thing here is you get into these things and you find that you can study each one of these philosophies and you find things that you find truths and you find holes.
Yeah,
And the same thing goes. So this thing of being an adherent to any of those things seems less and less. You know, it makes less and less sense. Where you say like, yeah, I can try to take the good tenets from this,
sure.
but I mean, for God's sake, I'm not going to be a nihilist. I'm not going to. That's I can look at this and say like, there's some good stuff in here,
What,
but
nihilism?
there's some truth. I mean, there's some ugliness to it that I think is very very telling. Things that you can sort of accept here that if you can get down to it, it's like, okay, yeah, I can see this, but it also gives me appreciation. It's something that
I,
it's like,
I always saw nihilism as Miracle Girl for fucking depression. So, you know,
I don't,
you know.
I think this is one of those
Because that's what
every rectangle is a square, but not every square is a
there's a
rectangle kind of thing.
right?
I'm kind of with you. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, man. When I come across isms, I usually ask myself, like, what does it do? You know, I mean, what's the purpose of ism here? You know, and so that's how, like, some of them are a little bit easier to understand than others.
Yeah.
And others of them, once you realize, it's like, why is this a thing, and what does it do? You start to realize it's like, actually, this is hot garbage. So,
Right, right.
so, I don't know, man.
Well, at least to me, that goes into my greater theory of at the buffet, don't fill up on just chicken. There's a lot of good
Yeah,
things here. Take from all the different sources. Like learn as much as you can, and like I don't know. I guess the thing of like setting a flag in the ground and saying I will defend this perspective to the death is the part that I've sort of dispensed with. Like there are
yeah,
some things where like yeah, I guess we could get into it,
I
but
guess.
at the same time, it's like I don't hold anything that fundamental except for like yes, burn the flag, dude. Everybody like don't even fuck with that. Don't like this is to
Yeah.
me that's like that's offensive. Is like
Well, I mean,
don't step on the thing that makes this country its greatest.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I get that. I guess I look at the whole free speech argument, and America is like the most freest free speech place that's ever freed out to ever anywhere.
By by a factor of 10. Yes. Yes.
So
Take
take
take all
all.
like let me unpack that equation
Right,
here where
yeah.
you got parentheses and fucking X2s and
These are
squares.
functions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're going parabolic here, baby. So-
Yeah, take all that shit and put a fucking exclamation mark behind it because yeah, you're right. You're right.
all right. So when I look at that, I say like, okay, it's good enough. The fence has been thoroughly whitewashed. Another coat ain't gonna make a difference. And if it sits out for like this way for a couple of years, it's gonna be fine, man. It's gonna be white.
It's like actually no. See, this is the problem, man. This is like, and I get it. I get it. That's you're absolutely right for your perspective, but you also need dorks like me around. It's
We
like
do.
there's a little bit of rust on
You're gonna
this
go out and
broad.
look at that fucking
Yep.
fence every day. You
Yep.
know? Yeah, I know. So, and it ain't gonna change a lick for 3 years. But then you're gonna find it's like, oh, it's starting to chip right here.
But this is again, like I got it here. The things that make it worse are essentially like living in a world where the UK exists is one of those things that makes it tough
Dude, that
to
place is fucked up. What happened? What happened?
dude.
So I went down a British rabbit hole over the weekend here. I found these two guys
Yeah.
who do a podcast over there. And I didn't know about half that stuff that was going on.
It's insane.
It's crazy. And it's like, wait a minute. So it's kind of like watching your grandma get dementia. So,
That's kind of, yeah, yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
sucks, man. I visit my Gam Gam every day. She doesn't know who I am now.
Well, I mean, it's weird. Yeah, because you're right. You're right. You're like when 1945 was wrapping up, and like you guys have been like chilling, and you give each other one last high five, and you're
Right.
like, all right, bro, stay in touch, right? And you go your separate ways.
It's not that far. I mean,
It's
just move
not that
across the
far.
street.
No, it's
You know,
that's the thing is like
see that guy pull out of his driveway.
we're talking about like New Jersey and Connecticut.
It's not that far.
It's not that far of a drive, but it's an even
It's just a
shorter
fucking
plane
train.
for yeah.
Yeah.
But you turn around and say like, wow, man, you went that way, huh?
There is something. Well, that okay. So England's not that bad. All right. So
Well,
I watched this
okay.
thing on Ireland, and I don't know if I actually want to go there anymore.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
So apparently they just, if you show up there, they sniff out your Americanness and shake you down for money. So, and then, predictably start tongue lashing you about your president. It's like,
So you wanna have a talk about freedom, son?
no, I
Is that
don't
what you
want to.
want to
That's
do?
what they're trying to do, and I don't want to do it, man. So that place has gone bananas. Scotland's gone bananas.
Scotland was leading the charge.
I
They were the vanguards on that shit.
I don't know, man. The Irish seem to be pretty bad, especially their government. It's just like,
And the Scottish were the ones that put the dude in jail for making his dog do a Hitler salute.
yeah, I know. So, but there's been stuff like that in Ireland too. Um, it's just it is something weird is going on over there. And then you go over to France and they're fine. They're like, yeah, this is France. You're expected to speak French.
Which again
Yeah,
is not
I mean, this shouldn't be that controversial, But then there's other things that they do, and they get it absolutely right. I mean, they have their own stand-up military with all its own internal sources. And so you talk about the one land power actually on Europe, that's it. Okay, so their taxation system, well, not ideal, is not something that most French people bitch about, you know? So, and then the third thing on top of all of this stuff is that, like, I mean, it's the only country in like 1,000 miles, okay, that actually has a replacement birth rate because they're Catholic. So, the French have no problem having 3 or 4 kids, man. So,
You're not wrong, and I mean it's still
in
you.
fact, you're kind of like if you're a single woman, a mid-career woman in France, and you don't have kids, people kind of wonder about you. You
Well,
know,
it's kind of
so
like they make assumptions. Like they come up to you and they like tap you on the arm. They're like, "I'm so sorry. It
right,
must be
yeah, it must be
like
terrible being barren. It's like, wait
it's."
a minute, I haven't tried. It's like,
I mean, this is. I mean, it's still. France is still the place. Like this is going to seem crazy to Americans here, um, but like cigarettes are still rampant in
everywhere,
France.
everywhere. You can smoke in
Rampant.
restaurants. So
Yes.
people talk to me, don't go to France.
Hotels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like everybody's smoking in the lobby. It's like I kind of want to
So
go
that
now.
sounds
That
awesome.
sounds great.
As a matter of fact, tell you what, if they can give me all the fat medication so that like my resting heart rate gets down to like 6, I'll go
Yeah,
smoke
we'll
some.
start smoking again. Yeah, let's show you modern medicine. 6.
Because
That's a different problem.
it's like your heart is supposed to beat more than one time every 10
Yeah,
seconds.
exactly. But it's a really good one.
Right. Did you feel one? Yeah, no, I gotcha. But yeah, I mean, if the nanobots are eating our fat, then they can eat the bad stuff in cigarettes too. That's fine.
Dude, that's coming, and that's the thing that's hilarious about some of the. I did notice this last week. They were cutting a lot of the RNA stuff, the research for it, but then like the next day there was a lot of people who were like, "Fuck, man, that's where our cancer vaccines are going to come from." So I was like, I'm not going down this rabbit hole, but I'm going to put a pin in that, and I'm going to look at that again
Right,
later.
right.
Because if that turns out to be true, then that would be probably the most terrible, like, fucking legacy of COVID. Um, I guess we'll find
Oh,
out.
fair enough. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I guess we'll find out. But
I think people would be willing to make the distinction, though.
like the whole thing about COVID is like everybody's so fucking over that. It's kind of like just this bad. We had this bad drinking night, and nobody wants to talk about it
Well,
anymore.
it's like I saw you.
So you
I know
too,
what you
man. Yeah.
did. You
So
know what I did.
yeah, thanks for grabbing my pants, man.
So we're still going to be friends.
Yeah,
We just probably shouldn't hang out
we're
for a
not
little
gonna hang
bit.
out for a while, man. Yeah, I know. So it's like I'm gonna go to the other Safeway from now on.
I mean, that's that. Like, if you go through certain people's history and say, like, listen, man, we're cool, but I
Yeah,
need you to understand that I saw you. You wrote, and I quote,
yeah,
that everybody that doesn't have one of these belongs in prison right now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But like eventually
But
we
those
just
were the times.
those were the times. But that whole thing is like the whole what was it, Scott Adams and the
Oh yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
law of slow moving disasters. So is that we're actually really good at handling really slow moving disasters. So because we get time to like, okay, so the ice is coming towards the village.
Right.
Let's move it down closer to the river. So
The ice or the village,
the village, because
whichever is lighter.
yeah, whichever is lighter, and will only take a weekend. It's like that kind of thing. It's like, well, how fast is the move? Is it inch a year? It's how far away is it? About 300 yards. I'm like, okay. So, but
Right.
COVID was a fast moving disaster, and we kind of suck at that. So, and us specifically as this country, we kind of fucking suck at that. Because I was sitting there thinking about it, like, remember our fast moving disasters? Just name the like the top 4 or 5 of the last 20 years. Okay, so
9/11.
COVID, we fucked that up. 9/11, we fucked that up.
Hey, hold on. 9/11 relief, we did really, really well.
Well, fixing the shit, yeah.
Fixing the
And
shit
then the
and
next day, we were like, fucking, let's go wreck the world.
yeah,
That happened. I remember. I was there for
I
it.
was there.
Yeah.
I said some things.
So the same thing, like Lehman Brothers goes down, okay, and it's like,
Oh,
holy fuck, we got to bail
yeah,
everybody out.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we're really shitty at those things. Not people in general aren't shitty about that, but we as Americans we're kind of shitty about those things. So
Okay, well let me flip the script here for a second. Right? So, like you talked about here, being a big group, one of the things that limits you when you have a big catastrophe that does strike you at once is the hampering of a big group,
yeah.
with many voices. Now, on the flip side, I would argue that the Chinese handled, with all their authoritarianism, I think they handled COVID far worse than we did.
Oh, terribly. Yeah. I'm not saying they're better at it. They can certainly move faster than we
So
can.
they could have.
They could have.
They
I mean,
didn't.
it was just a decision. It was just a policy decision that was different. Okay, and remember, they were able to flip that over right off the bat. They were like, actually, all that shit we were doing last week, stop. And everybody's like, oh, thank
Right,
fucking God.
right,
Okay,
right.
yeah. Whereas here, look, man, I'm a little bit more forgiving because I didn't call this one either. All right, you're the only guy that I know who called it. So, okay, fine. You can get on top of the barn and flap your wings at the rest of us. It's your turn, man.
Because if you do that, you have to walk down my list of misses too. Remember, they don't just.
No. This is your chance to shine.
Okay, all right,
Just take
all
it.
right, all right.
So, but I mean, when I look back on it, I think about it, and we talk about masking, not masking, vaccinating, not vaccinating. The thing that I remember about that is people screaming, absolutely screaming for like immediate solutions, saying
Yes.
like, "What the fuck, man? Let's get the hospital ships out in front of New York Harbor." Blah, when they didn't do anything. Okay, well, let's put one in front of LA just in case that didn't do anything either. Okay, this is a mask, don't mask, make me a cloth mask. Okay, we're all going to help each other out. That doesn't actually work.
Actually, Patrick, I'd like to take you back a
Yeah.
step here first. If you recall, one of the first big complaints about this
Mm-hmm.
was picking on our lack of preparations for not having enough respirators,
Oh yeah, Operation Lightspeed. We got to make 1 million of these things.
which ended up being one of the major harms.
Nobody knew that though at the time.
I understand,
Yeah,
but that's the point.
but see, that's the point. Is like, so here's my point about this whole thing, and I think if you're going to pull one decent lesson out of COVID, and beyond the science and stuff like that, I don't know shit about that stuff, and I don't really want to. But
Uh,
your government here is extremely sensitive to public reaction.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I have no fears about the Republic at this point in time, whether Orange Man in charge or not, because it is extremely responsive. We actually do control shit. I mean, we have to get mad, but then it gets controlled, and sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it does. But I mean, if you're in China, you can starve in your apartment, and nobody would ever know until they came and checked on you after the whole thing was over. So,
This is true.
here,
Yeah.
that would not happen. So,
Well, I would. Okay, so you're right. And okay, the other thing that the United States does is, yes, they can go ahead and get things in motion, but the thing about it is it doesn't require the same kind of strong armedness that it takes in other places.
no, it doesn't.
Right?
And a lot less bribery. So,
Way less.
Way less.
Way less.
Way less bribery.
As a matter of fact, I mean, things that. Look, we weren't exactly in love with it before. We'd love to find corruption where it is. There's only a few.
It's almost like a national pastime. I mean, that's the whole thing about Doge and the fucking U.S. aid. That was just delicious. We were like, oh, we were all right. And then we look at the bottom line. It's like, well, not much, but it still feels good.
Well, because, I mean, there's a point. Because the thing is, like, all right, so they did find a whole bunch of stuff in there, and they were right. But that's the thing is it's that same thing that's coming down to the Kennedy thing.
Right.
The same thing with the Epstein stuff. It's the same stuff where it's like,
Oh, that dropped too on Friday.
yes, this is
Yeah.
the
That's right. I forgot about that.
It's the same. It's like when Ghislaine Maxwell, says like Trump didn't do anything. He never did anything lewd or anything like this. That never happened. Now, but that's not the biggest part of it. The biggest part of it for me is like in the same way we kept looking. It's like, all right, cool. The Kennedy files are released, and then you look through it as like, well, I know all
We
this.
already knew all this.
Well, this I
This
didn't
is
know.
new. Yeah,
This is new.
but it's just kind of neat. It's not like
Exactly.
game changing.
Exactly. So
Yeah. So I actually on Saturday I actually listened to a chunk of her interview. So it's neat, but it's not. There's nothing in there that all these. I wasn't gonna listen to all fucking 40 hours of it or something.
no.
It's on YouTube. You can listen to it.
You know what I'm gonna do? I would ask Grok to listen to it for me. I was like, tell me something interesting that she said in this.
You know, you got to be careful because Grok might make it up.
He'll do that.
There's a lot of
But he
shit.
does.
There's a lot of shit on Ghislaine Maxwell out there. It might just like hallucinate something.
Now I am only going off that pronunciation. I looked it up. I pressed the little speaker button. That's how it says it's pronounced. I have heard that name pronounced about 14 different ways.
I
and
have
still don't
too.
know which one is correct.
My understanding,
It's French, isn't it?
no, she's English.
No, she is, but the name is.
I don't
French.
think. I think it's actually English. So
That's.
dude, there's some weird English names out there.
Oh,
So-
this is like a Gawain kind of thing. It's
right.
it's
Yeah,
just,
yeah. This is a Hermione. You know? Anyway, whatever. Hermione. You know? Then I saw the movie. I was like, oh, oops. You know, but
like
whatever.
my version better.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, anyway, where was I going with that? I don't remember. Someone who knew her said that's how you pronounce it. Whatever.
You don't know, and that's to. I mean, that's the other thing is that's to say that we have a monopoly on. Oh, okay. Well, you're English, ergo you must have an English name.
Yeah, no,
That's
clearly not the case here.
right.
So, yeah, no, that seemed kind of tame. But and I was kind of surprised that a whole bunch of people didn't jump all over that today. But it just seems like okay, fine, move along. You know, it's like okay. So, is she gonna get a pardon? No. She got moved to a nicer prison. Yay. She's still there for another 15 years. So, you know.
Right. And I got to tell you this: it doesn't bother me that she's in that prison. I think that people who do that shit probably belong in prison.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, unless the of course the alternative is the Henry Hill. I ratted on everyone and got off scot free.
And now I live in Nebraska.
Somebody has to do it.
Somebody
if that
has
means
to
a
do
shitload of people get arrested, cool, not
Yeah.
a problem. That's how the justice system works.
Yeah, sometimes
Whoever
that's the only
talks
way it works.
first,
Yeah.
yes, that's what is that? Is it the
Well, and she didn't talk. I mean, that's the other thing is she's got an appeal going on right now, so she didn't say anything that wasn't already on the record. All that shit that she said was already on the record. If you go back and look at
that grand jury testimony?
not just the grand jury, but back from his original trial in fucking Florida years ago. So
Oh,
she
the
talked about-
prostitution one.
she
Oh,
talked
yeah,
about
yeah,
all
yeah,
this,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so because they asked her all the questions about Bill Clinton, and and I'm kind of inclined to believe her on the Bill Clinton thing. That guy's just too fucking smart to get involved in something like that. So, and he wouldn't need to either. And that was the other thing that I started thinking about. I was like, well, wait a minute. So where's this actual like fucking flight log? Okay, here it is. Is it validated? No. So
because it's private,
nobody knows.
right?
It just appeared out of
Right,
somewhere.
right.
They don't even know if it's actually the right plane. And I was like, what the fuck, man? So, yeah, I know. It's like, wait a minute, this could have been made up from whole cloth? Yeah. So there's a bunch of stuff that we think we know that is actually, it's beyond like the window. You've got that like can know and will know. And so this one is like no longer, it's not knowable. Okay. The question is it possible to actually know what happened now? And I don't know if that's actually possible anymore, even though something actually happened.
Well, okay. So the problem here is you're right. Is to make that determination that would require information that's not already been put into evidence. things that we don't
Correct.
know would have to be the answer.
We need more information. So the question is there actually more information? How would you know if there's more information?
That's a great question.
There's no answer to
That's
it.
a great question.
It sucks, man. And I think that's why Kash Patel and Pam Bondi got in such trouble, because they probably showed up and said, "Wait, whoa, wait, this is it." Fuck.
And again, the problem is, do I know that? Do I know if there's been people shredding information before?
Possibly.
I have no idea. There's
Yeah.
no way for me to know.
Now, I've heard those stories about, oh, well, the lawyers showed up while we were on break and took everything. And I was like, is that actually true? You know?
Don't you usually have like dudes with guns that say don't touch that?
Touch that shit? Yeah, exactly.
And then when they start walking their fingers to it like this, they actually point their weapons at them and say, "Did you think I was joking?"
The other thing that she did say that was new, that was kind of interesting, she said, no, he was probably murdered, but it was probably over commissary. So, and I gotta tell you, man, my prison guy jumped on that right away. He was like, fuck yeah, everybody knows that guy's rich. So, if they're trying to shake him down for some money, you know, and he didn't want to play ball, then, you know, he's like, he confirmed that. He was like, yeah, $25 is about right for a hit. Prison.
I mean, this is.
I was like, wait a minute. So he's the only guy who's ever died on record now?
Clearly not. No,
clearly not.
I mean, in the same token, look, there are still people in this world that refuse to believe that Elvis is dead because the way he died was so undignified.
It was terrible.
Right?
Yeah.
I get it. Nobody wants to go out like that.
Nope.
There's still people that think Tupac faked his own suicide.
Yep.
I mean, no.
No.
Dude's dead.
He's dead.
Elvis is dead.
Elvis
I mean,
is
this is just how it goes, right? And there is a possibility where you're like, could a man have been murdered because of like commissary stuff? Absolutely.
It's possible.
Yeah. Do I know? Again,
No.
the weird thing is, look, that missing footage is a trip. That is
so
ridiculous.
It was extremely disappointing when you actually saw it. And you're like, wait a minute, you can't see the fucking door. So, and it was like, so this is not evidence. This is nothing. Okay,
Right.
It's neither confirmation nor denial. Okay, so stop trying to put it out there. It's like, okay, case closed. It's like, no, man. I mean, but again, I see it kind of from their perspective. If that's all they got and people are screaming for it, what do? You got to give it to them, even if they're not going to buy it. And then if they don't buy it, they come after, oh, what are you hiding? And they're like, nothing. And then like, well, you're lying. It's like, I'm not, but I got nothing. You know?
Well, I mean, is it like the famous, like the most famous case that I can give you in terms of like, you know, they're saying like the government's covering certain things up. It's like, okay, I can believe it. And the famous case that I can give you, again, this is something my dad knew about. It's kind of like, so there's a lot of people that saw wreckage that looked like a UFO.
Right.
It's like, yeah, they weren't allowed to know what it was.
Yep.
Why? Because it was this weird-looking plane that we were working on. Very weird-looking plane. I'm not going to tell you. If you saw the wreckage of it, you'd say, holy shit, it's a UFO.
Yeah.
Right? We couldn't explain, and we just had to say, like, you didn't see nothing,
You didn't see nothing, dude.
That's a nice house. You want to keep it that way? It's like, I'm sorry. Like, it's...
Your face looks well arranged.
Yeah, you get them the ribs when you put them in the car.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
You got one of those fucking those little beanbag sock things. You know? Next one's right in the skull, buddy.
Yeah, I mean, he told it to me. He's like, I couldn't tell you back then. I knew exactly what that was.
Yeah.
It's like, but I couldn't. It's like, and then we like the first time he told me about that was we bought. Who were the? There were two big companies. Like Snaptight was one of them that made models. I think it was Revell. Okay, so yeah, he started talking about it when my cousin, who was living with us at the time, bought a Revell F-117 model.
Oh, nice.
And those looked shit hot. Those were really nice.
Those were really cool looking at the time.
Yeah, because it was like, wait, man, it's like you're doing a glue model. It's like, yeah, I'm old enough to do a glue model.
My dad makes me put the cap on every time I'm done with the glue. Yeah. So
yeah.
No, that's true. And then like there's like I listen to Matt Taibbi every week with Walter.
Yeah.
So who's insufferable but hilarious too sometimes. But anyway, they were talking about this specifically, not the UFO thing, but
Right.
like, how the military would actually like drop things to like, fucking Tom Clancy who'd write that in the like Hunt for Red October.
Right. Right.
Okay. Just so that like some dude in Congress who's on the Defense Appropriations Committee would be like, "Holy shit, that sounds cool." And he goes to like Lockheed and says, "Can we do that?" He's like, "Actually, sir, we can do a lot more, if you up our funding." But that was a real thing, But see, I mean, that's kind of like that's an American level conspiracy.
Yeah.
This is not some fucking Russian octagon.
Well, okay. So what you're talking about there is basically it's sort of it's shades of payola, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it's also like, what do you mean? That's it? It's like where's all the hookers and the blackjack and stuff?
well,
You know?
you break down, you get down to it, and you say like, actually, like that's a pretty serious law that you broke, but it doesn't feel
It
like it.
doesn't feel like it.
It
Yeah,
doesn't feel
exactly.
like
It
it.
doesn't
No.
feel like it.
And you're right, and that's sort of like so. One of the things that they have been uncovering here, and this is it won't get any traction here. It's the we have sort of like a partisan. We've talked about this here. It's just Ravens Steelers. Like there's no breaking through on this one here. Like the things that they're uncovering in terms of like, wow, this Russiagate shit was actually bullshit.
That was actually pretty bad. Yeah,
Through and through, right?
that's the thread that Matt's been pulling on. You find some pretty fucking awful shit in there. I mean, but then you look at it, it's like, man, this is all Bush League.
Well, that's not the problem. Is like you get down to it, and you like the evidence that you're looking for, right, on something is the kind of thing that actually makes the other side actually put their heads down and say, like, God damn, man, that's pretty bad, right?
Right.
But this is the kind of thing that yes, what's coming out is like this is despicable, and all of you media people are shitty, right?
Yeah.
But there's no version of this where the other side isn't going to be saying like, hey, it's like bad tactics don't exist.
Yeah.
Just bad targets.
Bad
right?
targets.
It's like I don't care what happened because that if that kept the fascist out of the office, then it would have been worth it.
Well, I mean, and that's
like,
just
okay,
dude. I know so many people like that. It's just like I mean, and I've got to the point in time where I'll give Donald Trump some credit. He had me fooled for a while. I thought he was an idiot. He's not an idiot.
Nope.
He's probably the most talented president I've seen since fucking Bill Clinton. So in terms of that shit, you might even have Bill Clinton.
I think he has Bill Clinton beat. As a matter of fact,
I don't think he's gonna beat by much if he does, because those two guys are pretty fucking close. So
well, I mean, I'm not going to fight you on that one. What I will say here is there are. Bill Maher actually pointed this out the other day, right? And it was something where he was like picking on him at the same point, but he made this great point. He said like, all right, so let's do. He's like, I fucking told you guys, like, if you waited around long enough, he was going to do this to you. And sure enough, Trump is on TV and he's saying, like, I'm looking at the federal level about what it takes to decriminalize or reschedule what pot is, right, on a federal
he's
level.
not going to do that.
Well, here's the thing. This is the thing that he raised, and he said this is a brilliant point. He said he doesn't have to do this.
Mm-mm.
All he has to do is say it.
Yep.
Because he didn't win this election. He's like, he basically went to every group, right? And he didn't grab a huge chunk of anybody.
Nope.
He just grabbed some stray people off of like single issues. He's like, yeah, there are these people who say this. And he said, like, wouldn't you like to not pay tax on tips? And he pointed this out. He said, like, first Republican to win Nevada in like 20 years by like 50.65.
You know what's yeah, go ahead.
By just scraping off like tips things, people who like any little fringe things. Like evidently in the first campaign, he's like, crypto's a joke.
Yeah.
But he pulled all those dudes.
Yep.
Right? It's a brilliant strategy. It's like, I just need a few of you.
He just knows how to play the field, man. So yeah. No, and I mean, like the tips thing. I mean that there's a stroke of genius behind that, because if you actually dig into it, there's not that much revenue that the IRS generates from tip employees, because most of them don't report it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, well, okay, well, we can make this sound like something that's really cool, where we're basically just recognizing reality, and it's the same thing is true with Social Security. I mean, my mom always paid taxes on our Social Security, but it was like it was like $60 a year, you know, and so it's not that big a deal. But it sounds good, and it hits the chord in the right spot. And Bill Clinton did that all the time, man.
That's what I'm saying.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, and he was the one who's like, well, the Republicans are gonna, do this crime bill. What do you think of that? I think it's a good idea. You know, so, I was like, wait, what?
No. Actually, to clarify this, my wife's going to do a little bit of talking here, and she's going to introduce something called a super predator.
A super predator. Yeah.
Like, what is that?
What is that?
It's like, I'm going to talk about something that should make the black community hate us more than anything else on this planet.
It did it.
But they're going to let us slide.
They're going to love you, man.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, this is the same thing where, and again, he pointed this out. He's like, they're like, if you thought that Trump made huge inroads into the black community, he's like, he didn't. He's
no, not really.
He's like, but actually, he did. He's like, because you know what it was before? 8%.
Yeah, it was like 13 or something like that.
He's like, he flipped it to 16.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's actually a huge flip.
Yeah, but that's not where all his growth is.
No.
Like, and that just might be, like
the biggest growth is Hispanics. Is
it's huge, but like treating that as a homogenous voting bloc.
That is not to say
absolutely incorrect. So,
the question is, are they for Trump or are they for Republicans? Because I don't think those are the same thing.
You can't even say Hispanics, man. I mean, because Cubans are going to vote different than Mexicans, and Mexicans are going to vote different than people who are native born but from Hispanic descent.
I agree.
So I mean, and this is
it's their categorization, not mine.
I get it, but they're fucking wrong about that. The problem is that it's just an easy go-to thing, to try and see. It's just something that's easy to poll. Okay, and so this is the problem with like all predictive polling, especially when it involves race rather than income, which it should. Okay, because that's really what you're measuring, right?
Well,
so totally, especially when it comes to voting. All right, you're going to find similar voting patterns amongst people who make the same amount of money across the board. That is absolutely predictable. The thing is if you get through the polling section and you say, "Hey, how much do you make?" People hang up on you. So, and so you measure with the variables you got, which gives you a bad measurement. So,
well, I remember not too long ago. It was one of the things they're trying to do now is there's they were trying to do like a buyer's remorse survey.
Oh, that blew up. I saw that.
And what's funny is they were citing it from YouGov,
which is terrible.
I've taken YouGov polls.
Yeah. Why? Just for funsies?
For a while, you could get stuff from it.
Oh,
right. There was a thing where like it wasn't quite coupons, but you got points for stuff, right? And that's the thing is, why are you taking this survey? Number one, are you home by yourself and you answer the phone, or are you here for the free gift card?
Well, you're definitely there for the free gift card.
That's sort of the thing. And
that's why I like polling is, see, at first I didn't think there was such a thing as internal polling, but that is actually a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's with a carefully cultivated sample that has been recruited. Okay. And basically like sworn to uphold the law, whatever. Yeah. You got to take an oath.
Yeah.
And you will answer it honestly, but they never release those results out there because first of all, that dilutes the sample. And second of all, it actually influences things. And that's exactly what they don't want to have happen.
It's the dual slit experiment. You're correct.
Yeah, correct. Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yep. And they pay a shitload of money for those.
You know what? Good.
Yeah.
That actually, that's the...
Well, and that's going to come out in Joe Biden's book, which I'm not going to buy, but I'll watch a podcast on it, whatever.
Right. I can't see you.
I can't read that. But that's what you're going to find out is that the immediate polling right after he dropped out of the race was horrifying. And so they're running around thinking, it's like, wait a minute, we don't have enough Hispanics in the poll, blah, blah, blah. Not realizing that they fucking hated Kamala Harris, with the exception of the extremely, activist / educated /
Yeah, but you had them anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were your ride or dies anyway. Those are the people who
But your working class Hispanics were long gone by that point.
oh, especially for her?
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
All working class people. I mean, even union guys voted against her. I mean, fucking the guy who was like the head of the AFL-CIO was kind
yeah.
of like, well, we can talk to Donald Trump. So
This
the
again,
Democrats are fucked for 10 years. They are fucked.
oh yeah,
So
this was the point.
yeah,
Yes.
they are
Yes.
they are
It's
absolutely fucked. They are not sorting themselves out.
they are trying to
We're not going to have an opposition party for a decade, which is kind of scary. So, because that's when we do stupid things, Jeff.
okay. Okay. No, no, no. All right, all right. Hold on. Hold on. All right. Look, this is the I know that you find generational theory to be bullshit,
It is bullshit.
right?
Okay.
And
I'll let the construct stand for the moment.
well, okay, okay, okay. And I agree with you in a lot of ways that it is bullshit, but I will say that there are tendencies, right? And I will say that the tendencies maybe even more overlap with that like that like fucking trite four wave cycle of strong and create good times
Oh
using
yeah, yeah.
I believe that there may be sometimes a little bit of that, right? Um, because yeah, like you and I talked about like the other day is talking about like I was progressive until when, right?
Till Bernie Sanders.
And then this was the thing is like, well, when did I stop? When did I hit that point in the road and I say like, oh, you guys are going too far, right? And that's the thing is like
Yeah, but you started doing that as soon as Trayvon Martin happened. So
Trayvon Martin was not my cutoff.
no, I know it wasn't your cutoff, but
Oh
that's
no.
when I know you started like looking at. It was like, wait a minute, that's bullshit. You know?
I get like so my cutoff I can promise you was in like 2014. It
Yeah, I
was
know.
yeah.
That's Trayvon Martin's 2012. So yeah.
Um, that one I didn't even know enough about it. Like it was enough for me to say like this doesn't seem like I'm getting the whole story, right?
See, that's when I stopped listening to NPR. So
Yeah.
because they had a big like This American Life bullshit thing on Trayvon Martin and I mean you can say it's like, well, wait a minute, you guys aren't talking about this other guy, okay? What?
Stop saying he's white.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not white.
He's not white. I mean, that's not a white name. Okay, let me go. Let me go look it up. No, 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 that guy's not white.
Oh, Zimmerman? Yeah.
Yeah. So no, what was his first name?
George.
That's right.
Yeah. His name
Yeah,
was
yeah.
George Zimmerman, which is why they kept saying white guy.
Right.
Look, there are still people. Look, fucking. I'm going to put it to you this way. There are still a good amount of people right now that think Kyle Rittenhouse executed three black people.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But I mean, that's so. Like. I don't. I just don't get that piece anymore. That chunk of it kind of persists in the Democratic Party, especially amongst the elite who are terrified still of cancellation. You're watching Gavin Newsom do it right now, where he's trying to be a tough guy, but everybody's like, "You suck at this, bro." You know,
You still cross your legs like a woman.
right?
I mean,
Well,
listen,
whatever.
like,
But,
I'm not. It's not that. It's just you are trying. It's Tim Walz all over again. Where like this is what masculinity is.
it's
Like
no,
no,
not even
no,
close. Yeah,
no.
no. So I'm just waiting for him to show up on Joe Rogan. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. That guy's like, and so here's the thing about him that I find hilarious. So this other
Newsom?
guy that I watch, yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah.
is absolutely 100% convinced that he is not going to run for president. Okay, that
What is he doing?
This is all an exercise to actually position himself for something else down further the road because he knows he's not going to be able to win in 2028. Okay, but everybody likes a redemption arc and a second bite at the apple, blah blah blah. But what he's going to do is he's got like a 13-year-old daughter who hates being in this public spotlight, and she's going to pull a pin on him, and he's going to say, "Well, I'm going to take the next 4 years to see my daughter through high school, and then we're going to give it a real good shot in 2032 when we're ready." And I'm like, and he was the first guy to point that out. I was like, wow, like if that's the level of three-dimensional chess that he's capable of, it's pretty obvious and transparent what he'd be doing after the fact, you know. But a formidable man,
Okay.
this is
All
not.
right. All right.
Anybody who goes up against JD Vance is fucked unless like
Again,
unless something
yeah.
happens to him, or like tariffs turn out to be a terrible idea. Which is still possible. I don't know, but or
No, but
whatever. He
yeah.
turns out to be a pedophile or something. I have no idea.
Right.
It's got to be something really, really bad. But I was looking at the just the kind of perusing this on Friday, or maybe it was Saturday, and I don't know where I came across this headline or something like that. But it was basically taking a look at the two parties' war chests. For the
Yeah.
next presidential election, they are projecting that the Republicans will have about $3 billion to spend, based upon how much they've been raising. The low estimate, or I mean, the high estimate for the Democrats was somewhere around 300 million. They're going to get fucking swamped. So it's just they're just so screwed. And everybody's talking about AOC's going to run. It's like, yeah, she'll run, she'll lose, but I mean, she'll be a hero, and then Blue Party doesn't change at that point in time because they defeated us, those pesky fucking MAGA Republicans. They got us this time. So that's okay. We'll see you next time. Next Saturday, same time, same place.
Oh, those racist, sexist got us again.
They got us again. Yep. Yeah, I know. Yep. And nothing changes then. Meanwhile, like so much of the country is just so fucking sick of all that stuff. It's like don't call me a racist. I'm not. All right. So don't.
Well, here's the thing: is nobody cares anymore.
Exactly.
I mean, you guys
it doesn't
run it in the ground
anymore. Yeah, it's like calling people Nazis. It's like, okay, all right. So yeah, the fucking we have yard Nazis now. They're called your HOA. I mean, right. These aren't the ones that take away your neighbors and then come for you next. And so if we call things Nazis that aren't actually Nazis, then the word doesn't actually mean anything.
Nope, that's correct. You are absolutely, and I mean, there's a lot of things that again, I know where I started flipping around, and it came down to the like around in 2014. It's like, nope, there is no debate on this. This is gender identity. This is how it works. This is how you must address people.
Yeah, you got into that way before I did.
And I flipped the fuck out. I'm like,
yeah, I remember.
Wait,
that's 10 years.
I was like, a little, yeah. Well, because I was right there in the middle. I watched.
Well, that was all the game stuff.
Well, this was the thing. I was in the middle of that, and that's when I saw these boards getting taken over by like, look, I'm not saying that the raucous place for boys didn't need some policing a little bit, or just kind of like, hey guys, like, we can say the gamer word in here, but kind of like quit it, like mom's around. Right? There's a version of this where it's clean up. We're in polite company.
Yeah,
right?
Police yourselves.
But there was something to be said of like, look, we did have like a good thing going on here, and then certain crowds started showing up and saying like, can't say that, can't ban, right? And people are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I remember that.
And you've seen it happen. You've seen the identity people show up on train boards and shit like this.
Train foremen, and it's like, what are you guys doing here? So
it's like, does this have anything to do with you? It's like, it has. Politics has everything.
Politics is life.
Right.
Well, that's what happened, man. I mean, like a lot of people retreated from sports and they started picking up politics, just as kind of funsies, especially like, and you're talking about the tail end of Obama there.
Yes.
Where there was a lot of unfulfilled promises that a lot of people were really pissed off at. Now, I don't blame the guy. Okay.
No.
I mean, the Congress completely flipped on his ass. So he didn't expect that. So, I get that. Okay, fine. So, I mean, he's a mid-tier president. He was fine. So I don't have any problems with him.
No, ultimately, look, it's not the man that actually makes the difference. It's what it meant for this country to make that statement, right?
Oh, about Trayvon Martin.
Well, no. About like, that used to be a joke. It's like, we're never going to have a black president.
Yeah, and then it had happened right away. So, yeah, as soon as we got a decent one that was really good in front of the crowd, and not Jesse Jackson.
That's correct. Yeah.
Then it was like, yeah, and I remember that. 2008 was great, man, except for the crash.
Which was partially inherited.
It did. It's completely inherited.
Right.
I remember he shows up, he goes to the inauguration, and the next day he's signing a check for GM. It was like, it's done, you know? It was like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, my house value is plummeting. You know?
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Yeah,
Just chill.
exactly.
Just
Just
chill.
chill.
I got a long time, guys. So it's
Yeah. Well, and he did fine. And I liked having him as president, actually. You know, I mean, like, that's why I didn't like Donald Trump in the first round because you're used to Barack Obama at that point in time. It's like, okay, so, you know, we don't get out on the fucking, you know, the tractor and do donuts in the parking lot.
if
You
you're
know?
asking if there was a sort of grace and dignity that Obama had compared to Donald
Donald
Trump,
Trump did not have.
the answer is hell yes.
Hell yes.
It's very much a hell yes because when you go in there and say like, if Obama had golded out all the shit in the White House, they would have made fun of him.
Dude, they
for
made
it.
fun of him for wearing a tan jacket and putting his feet on the fucking desk. Come on, man.
Right, right. So
Donald Trump might have been one of those people who picked on him for that. I
Quite
mean, he
possibly.
had bigger fish to fry with Obama anyway.
he did, and you know what? That's the problem is Obama shouldn't have gone after him like that.
I think, you know, I think that whole story about them laughing at him, like Donald Trump had his eyes set on that 10 years before that. I mean, if you go back and you look at it, I mean, you know, he tried to run in Ross Perot's shoes. So in like 2000. So,
Well, yeah, I
yeah.
got you there. I'm just saying, like strategically, that didn't work.
No, it didn't work, but I mean, it was the same thing. I mean, even
But
the
it's
guys were
those
saying that
guys,
he had the
right?
same chance of playing in the NBA as he did becoming president. These are all the people who underestimated him. I was one of them for a long time. I've changed my mind on that because I don't like being wrong. You know? So, you know, but then there's like other elements of it where, you know, I mean, now he is completely different. He is relaxed. So he is
Yes.
extremely effective. I finally figured out why he picked the people that he did, you know, for all his different roles in there. And it's not because they're effective in their jobs. It's because it's the central casting thing. Okay. He's
Yeah.
building himself at a fucking ER. Okay. You know? And so you got to have this guy who looks this way and this person who acts like this. This guy's your heel. This guy's your baby face. That's what he's doing, you know, across the board. You know, and he doesn't really care how effective they are in their jobs because ultimately the bureaucracy kind of runs itself. You know, if you discipline it a little bit, which he did like the second week he was there. So, you
Right.
know, and now
Right.
like everybody's like, oh, okay, he's in charge, man. You know?
Well, I mean, do I think, for example, if you're going to take a selective multi-service agency such as GI Joe, right? Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you, there are probably people in different branches that had way more confirmed kills than like Lady J. But there's a certain,
Yeah,
but when it comes to putting together this team,
yeah.
right? You got to have certain people
You
that
gotta have certain
can
people.
act
Yeah,
like
you gotta have your ice Barbie.
X amount of chicks. You're just kind of like, how many winter missions are we going on? It's like maybe one. It's like,
Yeah.
well, we have three
We
guys.
got three guys.
We got three dudes with like winter clothes. We got dudes. You got to remember, they wear their winter clothes in the summer
You're right, on tropical islands.
because.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. That is part because again, this is the stuff where it's like, well, who are the faces, the big faces in his crowd? Democrats. I mean, this is the thing. When you
Oh,
have
yeah.
Gabbard and fucking, RFK Jr.,
I don't
like,
think RFK Jr. was that big.
do.
I think
When-
Tulsi was RFK.
Tulsi was bigger, but
Our RFKJ did not hit my radar seriously until about 6 months before the election when he was actually trying to run in the Democrats.
they said, fuck you. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
they told him to fuck off, and it's like, okay. So prior to that, I had no fucking clue who he was, other than the fact that he was like, you know, a little like loony, but he was also like this attorney who was going after the food pyramid and stuff
Right,
like that.
right.
That's all I knew about him, man. And I'm not a fucking political slouch, you know, when it comes to like where people are at. So I'm not going to oversell him as being a huge thing in 2018. So,
No, what I'm going to say here is
2022.
that dude, as far as I knew of him, okay, is a dude that popped up in a couple of YouTube clips every now and then that said, like, watch RFK dunk on this. Okay, that's what I knew.
Yeah,
him as,
okay, yeah.
right? I knew a lot of people. Now, I like Tulsi, but I also, there's a lot of things where it's like, you know what she's faming for? fucking dunking on Kamala Harris from the free throw line at the Democratic debate.
Yeah, I
Right?
remember that.
I mean,
That was
that's
in 2020, wasn't it?
well, yeah,
That was
yeah,
the 2020 election. Yeah.
yeah. And that's the thing is like when you're putting the and that's it's his crew where it's like you have they can't look at this and say like um, you have nothing but like crazy Republicans. Is like, oh, so
He's got fucking Marco Rubio,
so,
man,
I
for
mean,
crying out loud.
and Marco Rubio is killing it in that role.
He's great. Well, dude, he's doing two jobs
Yeah,
still.
that's true.
He
Yeah.
does Secretary of State and he's the NSA director, and that's the thing that's hilarious, or the national and the NSC director.
He takes zero shit from people.
No, I
in the
get
media.
that. He takes zero shit, but he's also demonstrated that a whole NSC position that has always been like, the fucking Karl Rove behind,
Right.
Turns
right.
out that job's actually bullshit. If the president doesn't want to listen to your fucking shit, he doesn't have to. So, so he doesn't need his 6 a.m. George W. Bush style briefing from the CIA director every day, and then maybe an extra one on Saturday.
But look, and
that's the whole
yeah.
thing. I mean, so like you put Tulsi in charge of that job, she doesn't do shit
well,
because he doesn't care.
she does stuff. We don't hear about it.
Okay.
I mean, that's the thing is like
my understanding is that she's not in the office all that often because she's just not needed because he doesn't ask for that shit. So
again, this is all right. So if we take this back quite a few administrations, right? Now, if you have a president, I don't know, say like that's the son of a president, and I think he probably looked at a lot of people's homework instead of doing his. I think you have certain folks
right
that is like, what should I do? And
yeah.
I believe that there's stuff like that happens, and there's a lot of people like, all right, there's as many people who will get on there and say like, you know what, you bring in experts, you should listen to experts.
Yeah.
That's what smart people do.
Yeah.
Then you have the other 50% of people that say like, you're the guy in charge, you tell them what to do.
And that's definitely Donald Trump.
Right?
That was Bill Clinton too. So
I know.
yeah, but
and I think you had sort of a mix. I think you had sort of like a 75-25 going on with Biden, where it's like, I say we should do this versus like, why am I here? What should I? Where am I?
See,
so,
I like he. I mean, his book's going to be interesting because he's probably going to burn some bridges with some people. You don't give a fuck anymore.
Probably because they burnt their bridge.
But he's going to put everything
man.
else in a really good light, man. So
a lot of people threw him under the bus hard.
Well, Nancy Pelosi stabbed him as like pizza.
Yeah, you're not right.
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
So she got him, right off the bat. But like the Afghanistan thing, which turned out to be an absolute shit show, I still think it was the right call, even though it turned out to be a shit show. And I'm telling you that in that book, he's going to come out because Mark Milley or whoever was in charge, it's going to take 6 months, blah, blah. He's like Friday. Fucking Friday.
Right.
He's like, who's in charge around here, me or you? And so he did that, and then he proceeded to like melt his brain over the course of the next 3 years.
I am seeing things your way a little bit more. Like, was the operation done in a sloppy way? But did it need to be done?
Someone was going to take the hit, man. In fact, Donald Trump was trying to pull out of Afghanistan for years at that point in time, and the generals bullied him into sticking around for a little bit. So we'll keep the air base, and then after a little bit, it was like, well, I'll keep this, and then we were down to only like 300 fucking guys. Basically, just putting our thumb on, the Taliban there, and everything was kind of cool. But we just have all this stuff is like, oh my god, the war that never ends, blah. Not realizing that it's like, holy shit, there's only 300 guys in there, and nobody's gotten killed here in 4 years. It was like, is this really a war? Can we just call it over? Someone's just going to blow the whistle, please?
You know what? Here's the other thing, Patrick. I think when it comes down to looking at history, I think there has to be a huge distinction of 45 versus 47, because these are totally differently run shows.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, 47 is completely different.
Completely different.
And that's all Susie Wiles. So she is just an absolute badass. She I mean, you can't find an interview with her. Okay, you can find older ones, but you cannot find one where there's like, sit down and hey, you're the chief of staff for Donald Trump, 47. Tell us all about it. So, her dad's fucking Pat Summerall of all people, man. It's
It's
just a
so
weird thing.
wild.
But
Yeah.
if you talk like if like I've seen so many people talk to people in the administration and say like, who's the MVP of the administration? They're like her. Yeah, they all point to her. And like, and, that's a complete difference because she's like, yeah, actually, you don't need to tweet that, do you? Why don't you think about it? So, but if you want to do it, we'll do it. It's like, and then the same thing. He's just like this. Got like Marco Rubio to completely do a 180. Remember, he was
100%.
little Marco, man.
Yes.
So, and Donald Trump sending out the olive branch and said, "Hey, I'm going to let you run this portfolio. All right, and we're going to do a lot of great things together." And Marco's like, "Yeah, let's fucking do it." So, and that's what they've been doing. And the same thing's true with JD Vance. He went into that meeting. This is what I hear. I don't know if it's true. Without his mind completely made up. Okay, he had a bunch of people who did not want him to pick JD Vance. A bunch of people, and then there was just something in the moment. He's like, you know what? Fuck all those guys. I'm gonna pick this. Well, because he's like, you're the son that I don't have. Because let me tell you about them motherfucking losers.
Well, I mean, here's the thing: is as a betting man, I know that you weren't willing to put money on it here, but I mean, you and I were basically like, so he's got a pattern. So
Oh yeah,
whoever's going to pop was like, I can't say which one, but it will be a woman. It will be a brunette, and she's going to be a D cup, right?
Yeah.
Like we didn't know who it was.
No. Well, I mean, my money was on Christy Nome until she shot that fucking dog.
This is
Or she had done that years ago, but then it came out, man. And I was like, "Oh, you're done." So, but she's right out of Central Cast. That's why she got that fucking job. She got like the biggest department in the government besides the DOD.
yeah.
Which of course he gave to a Fox News guy. No. So because central casting, man. But you're like, okay, so the second big one. So you're the hot D cup brunette. Okay, it's like just to get your face bolted on every day. So,
It's like it's the same thing. It's like,
dude, and her shit is hilarious. If you see the fucking press releases out of that, like they arrested that Kilmar guy
oh yeah,
the other day,
yeah.
and it was like, fucking secretary, what's Secretary Noam orders the arrest of blah blah blah, and then you go to the next one and take a look at Secretary Noam does blah blah blah. Then the next one is like Secretary Noam will be in Texas to kick ass tomorrow.
Right,
Kind
right.
of stuff.
We'll be kicking ass at noon, pausing momentarily to take names at 1. Yes, yes.
It's like, wow, you suck. I mean,
Well, all right. Again, this is something where I have to. Like, if you remember, this is like the difference between like Superman Returns and Man of Steel. Is like you have one movie where it's like, wow, this is like kind of boring. Superman never threw a punch.
right.
This is all about like land grabs. That like he's fighting Lex Luthor again, and it's boring. So they make this movie called Man of Steel, and it's nothing but punches being thrown
Nothing.
and Kevin Costner being eaten by tornadoes. And it's like, all right, there's a direct response to what happened before. Like
Right.
they took all that criticism. And then you look, it's the same thing, like this 47 thing where it's like, all right, so Joe Biden was criticized for never talking to the press. So he would come up there, he'd mumble some shit, turn around when people ask him a question, urinate into a plant, and disappear, right? Whereas Donald Trump
You just sit
every
there,
day
every day,
is at the desk
or at the
answering
plane,
questions,
or
or
at
at
the
the
helicopter, or at the front door.
And that's the thing is he's always taking questions. Now, when he doesn't want to answer questions, he answers in the most asinine way. It's like, that's another stupid question from another stupid network.
Yeah, he does do that.
It's like, are there any guys that want to ask me a question?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's the I would be so frustrated as a press person, right? Because you want to get into a shouting match with them. It's like, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that. They will clown you for this. But every day he's out there answering. There is Zero. There's nothing hidden, right? I mean, now he can change his like. This is the oh my god. This is the thing that just surprises me when it comes to criticism. Is like, you know, nothing ever happens. He's nothing but talk. That 70% tariffs on like India. He's gonna walk it back. I'm like, guys,
Yeah, of course he is.
are you stupid? I'm
Yeah.
like,
Haven't you ever negotiated for a car, dude?
I mean, it's seriously. Now that's the thing. You know, somebody's a joke. Like when you go into there, it's like sticker price is 11.35, right?
Right.
Now, if the buyer says, "I'll give you $1," you escort them off the
Right. Yeah.
off the
Stop wasting my
yeah,
time.
yeah. You don't give them a fake number.
Yeah.
Now, if they say like 9,500,
Yeah.
right? Then you say like, all right, come on, man, give me a real number.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't escort them off the
He's
lot.
like, yeah, let's wrap this up today. I got police. Yeah.
But you don't kick them off the lot.
No,
Right.
I'm not here to beat you up. If you
Yeah,
can't do it,
yeah.
you can't do it.
But if a dude
let's
says
get
$1,
serious.
it's like, all right, man, hey, let's.
Yeah, yeah.
When you want to come by and give me a serious, I'll be here.
I'll be here.
I'll be here.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But there's just things like he never sticks to his. It's like with negotiating, are you stupid?
No,
Like,
I mean it's just no, it's just the TDS is strong in the force with many people.
oh yes, yes.
And yeah, I suffered from that for a little bit, especially during the first term. I mean, there were a lot of things that he did. I'm like, fucking idiot, So, and to be fair, there were a lot of stupid mistakes that he
In the
made.
first term, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean, like coming down to like some of his choices of people who,
I think those were his biggest mistakes.
some of them, yeah. And then the other thing, like, he would get into fights that it was like, bro, I mean, you're getting
You're a
pretzel
grown
bent.
ass
Yeah.
man. Like, stop tweeting
Stop.
at Rosie O'Donnell, man. It's
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes. It was like, leave her alone, kind of thing. And then like this time around, he's just chill. So he's way more chill. I mean, he's still like, but you have to go over to True Social to like find his shit.
Right.
And even then, it's way less frequent, way more tame, much more rah rah, let's go, kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Than it was before. And it's almost like, okay, so actually you getting off Twitter made you a better person.
Getting out. Okay, so kicked off is. This is part of the story. Was kicked off the first
kicked off, but this is the hilarious thing. Musk begged him to come back. He's like, no, I got my own thing.
Right.
And he never has gone back.
No, he did. He did.
Well, I mean, just like a couple like retweets from what he was doing on True Social.
Correct.
That's not his primary platform.
No.
No. Because he knows that if he puts something like really crazy on True Social, it'll show up everywhere else. He doesn't even have to fucking do it anymore.
Well, that's the thing is you don't have to go to your account and basically retweet from True Social.
No.
Because there's a series of Jack Pozos and guys like that. You have a series of goons that are waiting to carry your water.
He's got lots of goons. That's true.
Yes. Yeah.
He
Unofficial. He doesn't have to acknowledge them. He knows that they're all there.
Yeah.
They're going to take care of
Yeah.
it. It's fine. That's what their job is, right? But yeah, it's funny. I mean, there is still some things where, like, is it still the same man in the same position? Like, kind of. You keep seeing him trying to find a job for his attorney. And
oh, yeah.
Again, it's kind of like, that's your lawyer, huh? Like,
it figures. Yeah.
There's.
Yeah, it's for casting. Got it.
It's
Yeah,
like,
we kind of figured this one out, man.
This can't be your lawyer. Like, she's too pretty. I'm like this makes.
That doesn't mean she's not good, man. So,
But she didn't do great during his trials.
I don't know. I mean,
Is he in jail? No. All
Right.
So all right. Case closed. Fuck. All right. Never mind. Yeah. That's right. People voted for this cake, but this cake is gone. So
yeah,
which
I'm
one?
sorry. Yeah,
So,
if you
you're right.
actually win a
You're right.
trial, you don't get to
Right.
shoot the other attorney. It's just like, all right, we won. We're good. You're not in jail. Everybody goes home now.
Okay. That's yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
That's a good point.
I'm Pat.
Hey, Pat. I'm Jeffrey.
Hitting the button.
Bye.